The side effects of prednisone 10 milligrams that you need to know. Hi, I'm Dr. Megan, the prednisone pharmacist, and I have gathered a list of the side effects of prednisone 10 milligrams that you need to know because your doctor probably hasn't told you. In fact, the only list of side effects of prednisone 10 milligrams that is really there was created by me because prednisone is a tricky drug to talk about. It is really old. It was approved by the FDA before my dad was born. It is so old. And the side effect lists are just pretty inaccurate and incomplete. And so there's no drug company out there saying, well, if you take 20 milligrams, you'll get these side effects, and 10 milligrams, you'll get these side effects, and 5 milligrams, these side effects. Nobody out there saying that. I had to go through lots of different side effect lists and compile them all together to find out which are the side effects of prednisone 10 milligrams. I looked at Lexicomp, UpToDate, Micromedex, clinical pharmacology, and the FDA package insert product label. The combination of those, most of the information there doesn't say 10 milligrams. It doesn't say anything, in fact. It just gives out random pieces of possible side effects. And I want you to know that I've compiled them all to find out which ones are most likely at 10 milligrams and below. And so the list may have said low dose. It may have said below 10 milligrams. It may have said 5 milligrams or above. It may have said things like that. So I just thought, okay, here's a good list of things that are about 10 milligrams and below. And you can also consider 10 milligrams to be low dose, depending on the scientific article. Some scientists say 10 milligrams is high. Others say it's low. I believe that 10 milligrams and below is low. And above 10 milligrams, really above 20 and above is high. And in between 10 to 20 is medium. That's how I consider it. But every scientist who does an article defines it differently. So without further ado, I'm going to share these in the order of the ones that are listed the most commonly. Not that they are the most common side effect, but they're just listed the most times on the most number of sources. So I mentioned there are 5 sources, and these side effects were listed by all 5 sources. The first one is Cushing's syndrome or Cushing's disease, hypercorticism or Cushingoid state and appearance. I think those all mean the exact same thing. And that means changes to your appearance because you're taking prednisone, which in medicalese is translated into moon face. It's essentially moon face, redistribution of fat from the muscles to the belly, face, and back of your neck and shoulder area. That is the Cushingoid state and appearance we're talking about here. And that is the most commonly listed. Granted, this side effect does get worse the higher the dose, but it is possible at 10 milligrams. You're not likely to get moon face until you've been on it for at least 3 weeks, if not 3 months or longer. The next, with 5 sources, is cataracts. And these are specifically posterior subcapsular cataracts. They're different than normal age-related cataracts, and they're irreversible even at low doses. The third one with 5 sources is glaucoma, and that's high pressure in your eyeball. Now, with 4 sources, the first one is heart failure, or CHF, congestive heart failure, cardiac failure. And this one was specifically listed as medium greater than 7.5 milligrams was the specific cutoff for this one, that you're at an increased risk for heart failure. I actually had somebody email me that exact question today. Does prednisone increase your risk for heart failure? So here's your answer. Yes. The second is euphoria, like feeling unnaturally well, lots of energy, just this great feeling. And it's more likely at 10 milligrams or above and at the beginning of the dosing. This euphoria usually wears off as time goes on. Okay, now to the skin. There are lots of ways this is described. Some call it skin atrophy, others parchment-like skin, skin thinning. One even defined this as most common at 46%. I don't know where that number came from because I do not consider this to be the most common side effect. And definitely 46% of people do not get like skin so thin that it will just tear if you walk past something. That is real and it happens, but I don't think it's 46% of the time. Maybe if you're using a steroid cream, like you're putting steroid directly onto your skin in the form of a cream or a gel or an ointment, that's a potential reason. Maybe 4 to 6% of those people would get it, but not the pill. I don't believe that. More skin changes. So little red dots and things that look like bruises but don't hurt. So the little red dots are called petechiae. If you can spell it, you could win the spelling bee. And then the second one is ecchymoses or moses. And they are just basically bleeding under the skin that is not because of trauma. Like you didn't run into something. It's just a spot where it's bruising and it's not painful. And then the last one with 4 sources is facial erythema. Translate that into English, that means red flushing face. I personally experienced that one. All right, with 3 sources. Weight gain. This one was listed as most common, low doses. And several studies have shown that weight gain is not very likely at 5 milligrams and below, and it's possible at 10 milligrams, and then more likely the weight gain the higher the dose. Especially 40 and above, it's pretty hard to not gain weight when you're taking 40 milligrams or and above. 2 sources, high cholesterol or hypercholesterolemia, atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis, premature atherosclerotic disease. So these are all on a spectrum of cardiovascular disease, basically the hardening of the artery because of high cholesterol. And one research I've studied doesn't think this is an actual real one. He thinks this is not supposed to be attributed to prednisone. It's probably attributed to the disease somebody's taking prednisone for. But it is listed in 2 different sources. Next is acne, or acne vulgaris, or acneiform rash, or zits. They're more likely while on prednisone, possibly because prednisone is mimicking the hormones that normally need to stay in balance, like your sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And potentially it's throwing those out of balance, leading to skin eruptions, making you feel like you're a teenager again. And then the next one is hirsutism. This means hair growth, specifically male pattern hair growth. So loss of hair here, like hair loss here, and then hair growth in the beard area. And no woman wants that. I don't think most men want this part. And so that is a possibility, probably back to the mimicking of testosterone or some interesting conversion from prednisone to testosterone or something like that. And we've gotten to the last one with just 1 source talking about this low dose below 10 milligrams side effect. And that is nosebleed, or the fancy medical term epistaxis. And it says this is more common at above 5 milligrams. There you go. The side effects to expect at 10 milligrams and below. I'm Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist. And if you want to know ways to counteract some of these side effects, the ones that are counteractable, just click the link below to download my prednisone checklist. It includes evidence-based tips from the scientific literature for exactly what you can actually do and what you can talk to your doctor about doing to keep you healthy while you're taking prednisone. If you're like me and you have no other choice but to take prednisone or suffer severe consequences, mine was potentially bleeding to death, then you know you have to do something, or else you're going to sit back and let prednisone roll over you. So this is your list of things that you can do to keep healthy while on prednisone. Just click the link below to download the prednisone checklist now. Signing off as Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist.